The draft is next Thursday, and I did a 3-round mock draft for the Titans. If the draft shakes out the way my mock draft went, man, the Titans are set up for years to come. Hey Titans fans, how's it going? Titan Uprising here. Thank you for tuning in. Please continue to like, share, and subscribe. 3-round mock draft for the Tennessee Titans. Jumping right into it, I used PFF for the mock draft simulator. I will be sharing the board, the results with you as I am talking. And let's get into it, guys. Now, as you can see, the number 1 pick was Caleb Williams to the Bears. I think we can all agree that's most likely what is going to happen. Number 2 was Drake Maye to the Commanders. And number 3 was Jayden Daniels to the Patriots. A lot of teams, and I should say a lot of scouts are saying, those could be interchanged a little bit. But, consensus here is the top 3 picks will be quarterbacks, and I believe that as well. Number 4 was Malik Nabers to the Cardinals, which, hey, I don't necessarily agree with that one. I believe if Marvin Harrison Jr. is there, you're going to take him instead of Malik Nabers. But number 5 is Marvin Harrison Jr. to the Chargers, and number 6 was J.J. McCarthy to the Giants. Now, whether or not someone like the Vikings trades up with the Giants to grab him, we will see. Giants, man, sucks to have Daniel Jones locked in for that. I'll tell you that. I would not want him locked in for that amount of money as my team's starting quarterback. Now, like I said, I think this is a very likely scenario. Granted, some of the picks might differ here and there, but I do believe, and you guys will remember me saying this, I believe 4 QBs go in the top 6. Now, when the Titans are on the clock, they were at number 7. There are players like Joe Alt, Rome Odunze, and Brock Bowers on the board, and I think everyone here knows that I am a big fan of Joe Alt, and we need to protect Will Levis. Odunze and Bowers are game changers, but guys, having a franchise left tackle is a must, and that is why I took Joe Alt. Now, Alt is 6'8", weighs in at 322 pounds, and he's just a monster of a human being who just so happened to turn 21 years old, so he's still young, and he's still, man, you draft him, you have him for 10 years before he even hits 31. That's nuts. Now, Levis was unable to finish the season last year due to injuries, and the Titans cannot afford to let that happen again. Now, this will solidify the left side of the offensive line for years with Joe Alt and Peter Skoronski, and the Titans can't overthink this at all. If Joe Alt's there, you take him, okay? Now, let's get into the 2nd round pick here, and the board went all offense before the Tennessee Titans were up, and that's why I went defense, because, yes, we want weapons for Levis, we want offensive line, but the defense has holes, okay? Now, I went with Chris Braswell out of Alabama because the Titans desperately need an edge rusher after Denico Autry left for the Texans in free agency. Now, Chris is 6'3", weighs 255 pounds, and is 22 years old. He ran the 40 in 4.6 seconds, and you can see that speed translate onto the field. In 2020, he was redshirted. In 2021, he played in all 13 games as a backup, recording 13 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, and a blocked kick. In 2022, he was a backup behind Will Anderson, and we all know how good he is. Unfortunately, he's on the Texans, which sucks, but he had 21 tackles, 4.5 for loss, 2.5 sacks, and a forced fumble. Last year, his most productive year, and his first year stepping into a starter role, he had 10.5 tackles for loss, 8 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, returned an interception for a touchdown, and added 1 more blocked kick to his resume. Now, very productive, and it was his first season not coming off the bench like I said before, but he was playing with Dallas Turner, who will be a first-round pick this year. So he's had star talent around him, which just so happens to be, when you're playing at Alabama, you're going to have star talent. That's just the way it is. This guy was with a 5-star recruit coming out of high school, so the talent's there. It really is. Now, he isn't a finished product coming out of Alabama, and his best football is ahead of him. He has an explosive first step, and he's got the speed and strength to be in the NFL. He's an athlete. He just needs to polish up his timing and his hand placement. Those are things that can be coached. When he gets his hands on an offensive tackle, it doesn't matter how big they are. he just pops them back a couple yards. This guy's got the strength. He's got the explosiveness. Like I said, he needs to be coached up a little bit. When you're playing behind stars like Dallas Turner and Will Anderson, guys like this can be overshadowed. And I think he showed his 5-star recruitment out of high school ability last year at Alabama. Now this guy, if we draft him, he will add to a nice rotation of edge rushers with Harold Landry and Arden Key. He has the capability to drop back and play some zone as well, and that will give new defensive coordinator Denard Wilson another player to utilize on defense in different ways. Now, the Titans, unfortunately, do not have a 3rd-round pick this year. We used it last year to trade up in the draft to select Will Levis, and I think we can argue that 3rd-round pick was definitely used very well because I am a huge Will Levis fan. I'm a firm believer in him, and I think he will be the franchise quarterback. And I think he is the franchise quarterback. I think he's taking steps forward to showcase that he is. Now, the Titans, because of this, we don't have draft capital. Not at all. We just traded the 7th-round pick for an offensive tackle from Cleveland, which I do believe that guy will pan out because if Bill Callahan thinks that this guy can contribute, and he was with him last year with the Browns, he has my okay. This guy, Bill Callahan, he knows offensive linemen. He obviously convinced, the head coach and GM to go out and get this guy. And I'm all for it. So there's a chance that guy could be our right tackle. There's a good chance. And then we have all here at left tackle. The line's set. And let's just, get into the line a little bit more. When you do, Joe Alt at left tackle, right, we have to figure out the right tackle position still. So we have MPF, maybe Radens is there a little bit. Maybe the guy we just traded for the Browns. There's guys that are there that are available for right tackle. Jalen Duncan maybe could fill in. There's guys there. And I think the line with the pick of Joe Alt is solidified across the board. Now, if we were to go wide receiver, which a lot of people seem to want that, and you know what? If we took like Rome Odunze there, I'd be okay. I wouldn't be okay with taking him over Joe Alt. At the end of the day, I'm a firm. In Rand, I trust. Let Rand cook, let him do his thing. But if Joe Alt's there, you have to take Joe Alt, in my opinion. But if we went, Rome Odunze or like a Brock Bowers, I could see why. We need weapons around Will Levis. And DeAndre Hopkins is going to be a free agent after this year. So wide receiver, I think, will be addressed at some point in the draft, but it's a deep wide receiver class. Now, it's not, star-studded throughout the draft like it is at the top half or the top 3 guys with Marvin Harrison Jr., Rome Odunze, and Malik Neighbors. I mean, those 3 are, in their own league, with Marvin Harrison being, in my opinion, in his own league above the other 2. And that's not to knock the other 2 wide receivers. These guys would all be number 1 wide receivers in separate draft classes because that's just how good they are. But when you have that many star-studded wide receivers in one draft, you have to rank them 1, 2, and 3. Now, there are there are good wide receivers later on in the draft. We can get probably a good one at 4 or 5 picks, or maybe we trade the 4th or 5th picks that we have and we accumulate more later on in the draft, like a 5th or 6th. But also, you have to hope that you land someone and hit on those 5 or 6 picks. But that's all in due time. We'll figure out what the Titans do. This was a 3-round mock draft. Unfortunately for the Titans, it is a 2-round mock draft because we don't have a 3rd-round pick. But next video I will be posting, I will be doing a full mock draft, every pick. And I'm going to try and do 2. I'm going to do one with trades, one without trades, because I always like looking at the different scenarios and how things can play out. And I'm going to go off the mock draft I do. I'll probably use PFF again. Now, if the board shakes out differently, and let's say Joe Alt's gone, Malik Neighbors is gone, and maybe even Rome Odunze is gone, maybe only 2 or 3 quarterbacks go in the top 6. Yeah, we're trading back with a team that wants a quarterback, and we're going to accumulate draft picks. There's a chance that happens if Rome Odunze, Malik Neighbors, and Joe Alt are all off the board, because I think Marvin Harrison's a lock to go top 5. But guys, let me know what you think. Do you agree with my 1st and 2nd round selection? Let me know what you think down below. And guys, as always, tighten up.